Namo Buddhaya and good evening to all of you. So prior to this Dhamma sharing, you can say Namo Tassa 3 times to observe 5%. Namo Tassa. Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Panatipata Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Adinādāna Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Kāmesu miccācārā Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Musāvādā Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Surāmeraya Majjapamā Daṭṭānā Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, now close your eyes and concentrate your mind. Sit in a relaxed posture. Bring back your mind to your present moment. Whatever had happened in the past already had happened. Whatever happening in future haven't arrived. What is true and what is real, only this present moment. Bring back your mind to your body. Scan through your body, the different sensation from your head to toe. And bring your mind to your face. Go through your forehead, your eyebrows, your eyes, your cheeks, your chin, and your mouth, your lips, and your nose. Observe the process of breathing in and breathing out. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Deep breath in and breathe out. Deep breath in and breathe out. Observe the natural process of breathing in and breathing out. Let few minutes to settle down your thoughts. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Sadhu, sadhu. Open up your eyes. Namo Buddhaya. And good evening again, right, after meditation. And it's so good to see you all here. So many familiar faces. And thank you for being here. So today, in the Mangala Vihara, you all gathered here to join with monthly Dhamma sharing organized by Mangala Vihara and also Mangala Vihara Dhamma Fellowship, Buddhist and Pali College alumni. All of you, as a form of collective work, come here and with the good intention of sharing this Dhamma, propagating this Dhamma. To start this Dhamma sharing program was initiated. So today is a very auspicious day. Not because I'm staying here, it is because actually this is the first Dhamma sharing in the period of Vassana retreat. Right? Venerable monks observed rainy retreat week ago, and this is the first Dhamma sharing within the period of Vassana retreat. So Vassana retreat considered as the period of 3 months to make merits. So give a big round of applause for all of you because you all have started your merit making with this Dhamma sharing. And there are so many other activities are also going on in Mangala Vihara. So I sincerely hope all of you can join and make some merit for the benefit of yourself here and now and hereafter. So, keeping it inside your mind, let's dive into today's topic. As you all well aware, today's topic is a very interesting topic, which is the true miracle of the Buddha. So, in Kevada Sutta, there is one of the sutta in Majjhima Nikaya. The Buddha shares there are three different types of miracles in Buddhism, as well as when we go through, you can see those miracles had happened and performed even in different other religions as well. So the miracle of psychic power, Itti Patihariya, the miracle of telepathy, Adesana Patihariya, and miracle of instruction, Anusasana Patihariya. So these are the three different kind of miracles that performed by the Buddha. For greater understanding, we can share this slide and you can go through the miracle of psychic powers. A person who developed his mind in a profound depth of meditation, they are capable of receiving different kind of psychic abilities. So under miracle power of psychic power, I have listed 6 of the qualities. Having been one, he becomes many. He appears and vanishes, walks through the walls. Interesting, right? He dives in and out of the earth. He walks on the water and flies through the air. So there are 6, but there are even more greater number of different kind of practices and psychic powers have been shared in Kevada Sutta. So these 6 will be good enough for understand what are those miracle powers. And if I give you a short story of having being one, he becomes many. Since many faces are familiar, those of you have gone through some lessons and also Dhamma sharings. So you may have heard about the story of Venerable Chullapantaka. Venerable Chullapantaka is a young novice monk who were capable of performing miracle of having become one, becoming in many forms. So this is one of the examples that we can find in the Tripitaka. And when we goes to Venerable Arahant Mahamuggalana's life story, there are many numerous miraculous powers and miracle performances that he has done throughout his life, like walking on air and diving into the earth. So different kind of miracles were mentioned. So this is one of the examples. And then Buddhism also shares another form of miracle, the miracle of telepathy, reading the mind. Thus is your mind and mental events. Here is where you thinking and reading or knowing the thoughts of others. Such is your thoughts. This is quite scary, right? I can see, now I can't read your mind, but I can read your face. It seems it is quite scary, but don't worry. I don't think nobody is able to perform such kind of miracle here, so you are safe. But the Buddha was capable of performing this miracle, right? It is interesting if one can read others' mind, right? If it is interesting if there are only positive thoughts. How about negative thoughts? So the Buddhas and Arahants were capable of reading others' mind, and they are so much compassionate human beings, even though they are Arahants. So even though negative thoughts that you are going through, it doesn't matter for them, right? So they are so compassionate. Therefore, no harm is done. So Buddha, every morning after his daily routines of morning session, he sit down for his meditation and goes through different people's mind to see who is capable of understanding this Dhamma. And once he spots someone who is having that affinity, ripened conditions, he decided to walk and go seek food from the person who is staying that direction. So the lucky one will receive the instruction directly from the Buddha, depending on what are the faculties that we need to develop. Unfortunately, Buddha is not with us. So there are no personal guide to guide us through. Therefore, we need to practice. And then Not only that, there are some different other arahants also capable of performing this miracle, and they perform this miracle of reading others' mind. But apart from these two different miracle powers, the Buddha was capable of performing some other miracles as well. So the first one is considered the twin miracle, which is called Yamaka Maha Patihariya. So this miracle can only be performed by a Buddha. Others are unable to perform this miracle. This because the Buddha was capable of emitting water and fire from his body at the same time. Water and fire does not exist together, right? So that is truly a miracle only a Buddha could do. And Buddha performed this miracle several times in his life. In one occasion, when he visited the Kapilavatthu, which is his birthplace. You know, the relatives are very difficult people, right? You all agree with me, right? The Buddha also faced the same thing. So when Buddha attaining enlightenment went to see the relatives, but relatives were not ready to accept him as a Buddha. So Buddha had to perform a miracle. Not just any miracle. Only the Buddhas could do this miracle. So that is how he was able to gain the faith of his relatives. So if you want to gain a well recognition, you must capable of performing miracle in front of your relatives. Not only that, he was capable of performing a miracle of hiding Yasa in plain sight. Yasa is a very a young boy who joined with the Buddha's order at the very early stage, and his parents were quite not happy with his decision. They came to see him, but Buddha was not ready to show him, and it is quite a shock for the parents. Therefore, he performed a miracle, hiding this young Brahmin right in front of him. He was sitting beside the Buddha, but he made him hide until the parents to receive some instruction of Buddhism. Once their mindset is stable, and he led them to see the sun that sitting right next to them. So this is the second a miracle that Buddha performed. And outpacing Angulimala, which is a very famous story, right? Angulimala considered as a very uh, notorious person, and he was following and charging the Buddha with the intention of killing the Buddha. But Buddha was capable of performing miracle of not letting him to come closer to the Buddha. So he exhausted, and after exhausted, Buddha teach the Dhamma for him. And followed by the last miracle here, but there are many instances of performed miracle by the Buddha. So teaching the impermanence for Kema. Kema is considered as a beautiful queen lived at that time. And she was not happy with Buddhism because Buddhism always talk about suffering, impermanence, not self. And she considered it is as a very negative religion. But one day she decided to come and see the Buddha. And when she came, Buddha performed a miracle of a beautiful two ladies fanning to the Buddha. And while Kema was sitting down there, the Buddha made the determination these two ladies who were performed as a form of miracle slowly aged and passed away on the stage. It was only capable of seeing by Kema. The others were not capable of seeing. And then Kema realized, oh, they were even beautiful than me and they were even younger than me. But eventually, this is what happened to all human beings. So Buddha make use of this capability to realize and to teach the Dhamma. So these are some kind of example of the Buddhas performing the miracle. And these are very interesting stories, but Buddha himself in Kevada Sutta shares there are so many drawbacks of miracle powers as well. It seems you all of you were so silent and you also disappointed with this understanding of drawbacks of miracle powers, right? Miracle powers are so cool. Why there are drawbacks? We are going to find out. According to the Kevada Sutta, Kevada is one of the Brahmin who lived in Nalanda. At that time, Buddha was living uh, in one of the mango forests, and Kevada came to the Buddha and asked the Buddha, Buddha, you are now in Nalanda. Nalanda is a very famous, populous, and prosperous state, and there are many devotees who are very much devoted to the Buddha. Why don't you instruct your disciples to perform a miracle and enhance their faith, increase their faith? And Buddha refuses, no, I do not ask monk to perform miracle because that is not the way to gain the faith of disciples. And he asked 2 times. And the third time, Buddha, having known his intention is good, elaborated, okay, if a monk were to perform a miracle, there are some people, right? Those are with conviction and those are without conviction. Those people, those have conviction or the faith in the Buddha, they may believe psychic powers are true and telepathy and mind reading are also true form of miracles. But what about the people, those who are not convicted, no faith in the Buddha? They may say, in ancient India, there were people, those who were capable of performing these different miracles, a form of black magic. That is why it is called the Gandhari charm. Similar to psychic power, but it is not a development of the mind, but using some certain black magic. And also the same, reading the other's mind. Telepathy is a knowledge that acquired by deep meditation practices. And also there is a similar kind of a practice practiced by ancient India called the Manika charm. So faithful people may believe, but unfaithful people will say that monks are also using black magic. Now you understand the drawbacks, right? Having seen these drawbacks, Buddha said, there is a wonderful way to gain conviction from the people. That is the third way, which is called the miracle of instruction. The Buddha appears in this world. He teaches Dhamma, admirable in its beginning, admirable in its middle, admirable in its end. So this is the teaching that under the proper miracle, which is called miracle of instruction. And when we are using this method of instruction of miracle, no need to perform miracle, but we are creating all of you to perform miracle. So knowing the Dhamma enables all of your ability of performing miracle. So after this sharing, you all are going to perform miracle here, right? Because this is what we are going to do. Now, this is the way to perform miracle, right? The teaching of the Buddha is called the Dhamma. And this Dhamma has 3 kind of a practice. The first one is called Pariyatti, the theoretical study and learning. Right? That is what in Mangala Vihara we are doing in the diploma class and MA class and other different classes. We are doing that theoretically we are learning this teaching. And then Pariyatti, the practical application and living. It is not enough to learn because we need to make use of this teaching to apply in our daily lives to be a better person to yourself and to your family and to the neighbors and to the society. And that is the part undergoes Patipatti. And Pativeda, the direct insight into the truth. So you are practicing meditation to gain and unlock this ability in your mind. So direct insight into the truth. Later we can understand what are these truths. So the Buddha says in Alagadupama Sutta, I make known just 2 things. The first one is suffering, and the second one, cessation of suffering. So entire teaching of the Buddha is all about to be aware that we are suffering. Because many people do not know that they are actually suffering. And when you know that there is a suffering, Buddha shows us a path to eliminate that suffering. Isn't it wonderful? giving all of you an opportunity to perform a miracle in your daily life, in your daily activities, to understand what is suffering and how to overcome that suffering. If Buddha were only performing miracles without teaching us how to perform this miracle, Buddha is no better than another magician. Once Buddha passed away, the magics are all over. That is what happened, right? You may have gone and attended the magic shows, right? When you are sitting down there, the, the magician comes and play tricks and what do you call it? And then the rabbit appears, right? So different kind of thing, magical things are happier, right? So you are clapping for the magic. After 1 hour session is over, you are back to your life, and the same suffering and the same mess of disasters and same mess of attachment and all the same, only a short break that you receive. So Buddha taught us a way not to entertain ourselves for 30 minutes or one session, and how to entertain entire your life, how to transform the suffering into happiness and live here and now happily. If you live here and now happy, then what will happen? Hereafter also we are happy. So that is the greatest miracle performed by the Buddha, by preaching this Dhamma for us to understand, learn, practice, and actualize. So that is what the Buddha's message is all about. This world is suffering, and I will show you the path how to overcome that suffering. So here, the teaching of the Buddha divided into two sections: discipline and doctrine. Those discipline and doctrine to be found in the Noble Eightfold Path. Those of you who are aware about this teaching, probably you can understand what I am talking. But those who are first comers and newcomers, I can read your mind. Therefore, don't worry. Here it is, right? So these are what we call the Noble Eightfold Path. There are three sections in the Noble Eightfold Path. The morality, which means a good ethical conduct. So we need to have a good right speech, and we need to have a right action, and we need to live a right livelihood. And this is the one section. After that, we need to develop our mind for the concentration. Right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Followed by the wisdom part, right understanding, and right thoughts. So this is what Noble Eightfold Path. I'm not going to stress yourself about this. So I'm going to give you a very simple version of practicing this Noble Eightfold Path. So the Buddha says, this teaching that Buddha preached, good for the many, for the happiness of the many, and out of compassion to the world. You see, the teaching of the Buddha comes with the compassion, the loving kindness. And when it comes with loving kindness and compassion, it is happiness for the many and good for many. Now, according to the Noble Eightfold Path, that we are going to practice morality or good ethical conduct based on a universal concept. So this universal concept is a very simple thing. If you do not like something, do not do it to others. So no need to think about 5 precepts, no need to think about 8 precepts, no need to think about 10 precepts, right? Just one simple thing if you can follow. If you do not like something, don't do it to others. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha says, Sabbe tasanti dandasa, sabbe bhayanti machuno, attanang upamankatva nahaneyana gate. Every being's fear of punishment, every being's fear of death. Therefore, having kept oneself as an example, do not hurt others. So that is what morality in Buddhism all about. So in order to practice this, do we need to be a Buddhist? No, right? It is a universal concept. So if you follow this method, that it does not bring or shows the title of Buddhism, but you are motivated by universal love and universal compassion. So that is how the morality in Buddhism defined. It is a very simple aspect, but it is very difficult to practice, right? Because universal concept, and we need to apply it for others. That is why the five precepts in Buddhism consider as a common practice that can be practiced by without any boundaries or barriers of religion or countries and different kind of other boundaries. So it is a universal code of conduct. You should not harm others. You should respect the value of speech. And when you think that it is difficult to practice simple rules of five precepts, you know what is lacking in yourself? You are lacking love and compassion. If someone says it is difficult to practice 5 precepts, 8 precepts, and 10 precepts, it is because we are having the lacking of fundamental quality of loving kindness and compassion. It is so true, right? If you know the value of loving kindness and compassion, you are not going to harm others. So if you think that you cannot practice 5 precepts, very simple thing to do, right? Develop loving kindness and compassion. So this is the marvel of instruction, the miracle of instruction founded by the Buddha. This is a very profound concept. And why we need to practice this morality? It is not for others. It is for ourselves. Why? It is a practice of personal development. So when you develop this loving kindness and compassion under the virtues or five precepts or other precepts, other people who are around you feel safe with you, right? Lacking of personal development, other people are threatened by your presence. That is why when you come to the room, others are running away. It shows that we need to develop that loving kindness. And those people who have developed their personal well being, and others are also, it is just like creating a garden. The butterflies, bees, bumblebees, and whatnot, right? Everybody come and sits over the garden. So you need to create a personally a wonderful development so others will feel safe with you. And you are good with collaborative activities. It is just like the Mangala Vihara and MBDF and BPTC all come together to do this wonderful act of sharing the Dhamma, right? So the collaboration is good because the world always want to divide, segregate. But exactly what we want to do, the opposite, which is bring back everybody together, work as under the term of unity. That is what we have to do. So in order to do that, we need to develop personally ourselves. So when you are good at it, you are having lots of support and people, and then you are having good negotiative abilities because you are not only seeing only your picture, that you are seeing others perspective as well. So these are personal development. If you want to be a very skillful leader, go ahead and practice. And creativity, how you are developing the creativity, you are taking others ideas also. It is not just your only input, it is input of others. Collaborative work and creativity is there. You are seeing the bigger picture. You are not shortening or uh, shrinking your ideas for universe, your ideas for everybody, all entire human race, and you are emotionally connected with others. It is very difficult, right? We are developing so fast, but there are no emotional connection. Within the family, we can't find emotional connection. Within the loved ones, within the friends, and within the neighborhood, and within the country, we can't find it because we are so egocentric. We think about ourselves, but personal development means that you need to create that safe nature within yourself and others as well. That is how emotionally you can connect with each other. Not only that, you are capable of identifying your needs. Most of us are suffering from wants. We want, and we are not ready to understand and identify what are the needs. Needs are the basic things, essential things. Whatever beyond that are considered as wants. The more that wants are bigger, the more money that you have to spend, the more that you have to work hard, the more sleepless nights are ahead of you, right? It is very simple. If you want to go with the needs, very simple. But since our human nature, we have lots of number of bones. So when you are developed personally, when you are practicing, we know what is your priority. So it could be understood. Isn't it a miracle? I think this is the best way of performing a miracle, right? The world is running like so crazy, and you are still and you are observing the fast going and ongoing rat race, still and calm. That itself is a miracle. But you know, right? We are very good and we are practicing so good in morality and all until when the disaster comes, right? When stress, instability, and uncertainty comes, our good conduct is under attack. Aha, this is where your true ability of genuineness is being checked. When everything is good and when everything is going on your favor, we are so nice and we are so calm and we are so happy and we are spreading our loving kindness and compassion. But suddenly, when your world is being attacked, the true nature comes up. I give you a wonderful example. Suppose you are working in a company and you and your good friend applying for the same higher position. Interesting, right? And he is your good friend, and both are equally good with the grades and equally good with their work performances. And you know, secretly someone told you the boss is going to choose your friend, not you. Aha. And another friend comes and says, I have an audio clip. That person was talking behind your boss saying so many negative things. If you want, I can pass this audio clip to you. You have to just submit it to your boss. What are you going to do? This is a long wait opportunity that you are going to grasp, and it is going to go to your friend. And that is the true opportunity to see what is your real nature. In this lifetime, you may have come across such kind of opportunities and incidents a lot, right? So, how did you react in such kind of situations determines what are your exact values are. And suppose suddenly, because of world are going on so many wars, right? So we are harmless and we are not killing. But suddenly a world war is broke out and the weapons are everywhere. Some country is going to come and invade Singapore and they are coming up with firearms. What you are going to do? Are you going to take a gun and retaliate? So these are the moments that define who we are, our true nature. That is why, until that we do not face any problem, we are very good at giving advice to others. But once when we are in the situation, I know, but I can't. I know it is wrong, but I can't, right? So that is what the true testament of our good conduct comes when the stress, instability, and uncertainty breaks out. That is why we should not stop with the morality and moral development. Therefore, the Buddha says, there is a solution, don't worry. Right? Buddha comes up with the problem and the solution. So there is a way to restore your stillness, clarity, and stability. How we are going to do that? We are going to do that with the power of concentration. So when the things are good, it is easy to be a good moral human being. But when it is under attack, we need another support. That support we can get from a good sound practice of concentration. That is why we need to learn and also practice some form of meditation to stabilize your stillness, clarity, and stability. Then we are well prepared. Our life is under threat and attack, but we are very well prepared because our stillness, clarity, and stability is very strong, good foundation. So the earthquake comes, it just shakes, but without destroying, it will remain as it is. So that is why the concentration is important. Here, the concentration is something that creates self-reliance, attentiveness, and calmness. So when we go through the understanding of Noble Eightfold Path, it is the right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. But when it comes with these technical terms, it is difficult to understand, right? So if you are self-reliant, which means your effort is good. And if you are attentive, mean you are in mindfulness. And you are also calm, which is your concentration has developed into some certain extent. So that is why this concentration practice will protect us from the shades of the world. So there are different kind of situations that created in this world to check who we really are. In that situation, this concentration must be there. So when we are with the good concentration, we can prevent those negative thoughts before it appear. When the friend is coming with the audio clip, you can say no, right? And then if you accepted that, but still if your concentration is good, you are capable of rejecting it. No, this is not the right way. You want to do it, but you take it, but you are not going to do it, right? You still rejecting it. And also when there are positive things are there, that you are capable of cultivating that positivity and maintain that positive level of your mind. So that is how the concentration supports our practice. Isn't it a miracle? When things are all under attack, if you can live calmly, it is itself a wonderful miracle. And it goes with the personal development of more focus. When your concentration would mean you are more focused on about your virtues, and you are more loving kind, and you are more compassionate, and you are more happier, also less stressed. Again, if you think you cannot practice meditation, what you have to develop? You have to develop more loving kindness and more compassion. Isn't it wonderful? All these qualities that we need to develop, if we can't develop, the Buddha says, one remedy, be more loving kind, be more compassionate. So the moment that you are loving kind and compassionate, you are with the virtues, you are good. With the concentration, also you are in a solid foundation. So less stress. That is the personal development. And then it says with the stress, instability, and uncertainty, they may always appear in our life, but because of the concentration, our virtues are safeguarded already. The protection is there. The viruses are always there, but you can protect it with a firewall, right? The what you call virus guards. So there are always the protection is there, but we need to install it. So we need to install the concentration, loving kindness, compassion. And we are going to the last section, which is to develop wisdom. So in those both ways, we can control ourselves. But it is something like when our life is not being threatened, okay, we are so good, calm, and collected. When the things are happening, we are not calm at all and we are not collected. And we have concentration, but everybody, that all of you are having very busy life, no time for meditation, no time for breathing even. Therefore, you forget to practice, right? Then it is something like if you are having morality and concentration, only these two, it is something like carrying an egg on your head without touching it and without letting it fall and broke. It is difficult, right? You need to balance a lot in keeping egg on your head. Since you all have hair, it may be easier. You know what I mean, right? So it is very difficult to bring an egg from this corner to other corner with balancing it. So the same concept is applied. When our concentration is good, yeah, there is some certain kind of protection. But how if our concentration is not good? Then all our concentration and morality are under attack, right? That is what exactly had happened to the Buddha also. You know, the Prince Siddhartha, he decided to go from lay life to a life of a monk. And he started practicing these meditational practices. he realized as long as he is in a meditation practice, of course, there are no any issues. But once he opened his eyes, started going out to the village to collect food, and those negative thoughts are keep happening and coming out. So he realized there is something wrong, even though the senior meditation practitioner says this is the ultimate end of the meditation, cultivation of our spirituality, cultivation of our mind. It cannot be because we can't live forever inside a cave. We are human beings, we have to socialize, we have to work. And Buddha decided, no, this is not the path. There must be something that we can practice and eliminate or eradicate all these desires. Or else, while living in the society, live happily. So, actually, that is another miracle performed by Prince Siddhartha, right? It is very difficult to attain the fourth jhanic stage. Prince Siddhartha did not stop from the fourth jhanic state. He developed until to the eighth jhana. And having developed into such kind of mentality, having embraced such kind of happiness inside his mind, having seen the default or the difficulties of these meditational practices, he let go of this meditation practice and decided to take different path. And how many of us can change our career right now? We know it is so stressful, but can you resign? No, right? So many fears in your mind, right? So how am I going to face? How people are thinking? That is exactly what happened. When he decided to let go of these jhanic experiences, searching the path, those five supporters, they said, bye-bye. You are not practicing and we are leaving and moving away from you. They were the only supporters stand with the prince, ascetic Siddhartha. And when entire world is collapsing, he decided to take different approach. Because of this great decision, Buddhism was arose. So that is a miracle itself. Even before becoming a Buddha, he performed a wonderful miracle, right? And that is what wisdom that Buddha had to introduce to this world. While living in the world, you have ability to transcend yourself. Like there are ordinary knowledges and there are intellectual knowledges. It is just like our meditational practices, our virtues and our good nature, our loving kindness, our compassion. But it needs to be transformed. How we are going to transform? Buddha found out a way, right? All these things are happening because of our fundamental nature of ignorance. So ignorance, because of ignorance, we see things as permanent even though they are impermanent. Because of ignorance, we think that we are happy in this world even though we are suffering here. And we think I have a self even though it is a not self. So Buddha said that we need to personally experience and know the reality of this world, impermanence, suffering, and not self. When you understand this concept, where there are wisdom arises. So in our daily lives, if you want to reduce your pain or your suffering, you have to go through the understanding of impermanence, right? Why we are suffer? We think everything is permanent. Therefore, we want things to be permanent, but things are changing, and you suffer, and we suffer. But if you know, yes, things are changing, you are not attached to that concept of permanency, you are ready to embrace impermanence. So that is how you can live happily. When the things are changing, oh, no wonder. It's supposed to be, right? Because that is the nature. So you are ready to embrace it. And you think this life and these relationships and these opportunities and these positions and all those things brings happiness. But when those things are changing, suffering arises, right? If you know it from the beginning, then you are ready to accept it. If not, we have to go through the suffering. And all these are leading to the realization of we are taking things as self, eternal, everlasting, never changing. So when we realize there are no self or entity that everlasting, we are ready to let go of things. So when you are understanding this concept, intellectual level, you can apply it. And when you are applying it more in your daily activities, the more happier you are, and also the more acceptance that arose within yourself. So that is how this personal experience, cultivation with the period of time, becoming wisdom. So here in the wisdom again, if you want to deal with ignorance, that is what the way. And if you want to deal with the greed and hatred, the other two fundamental negative roots of our mind, with the wisdom, we have to be more generous and practice renunciation. So, practicing the detachment. The more that we are detaching, the more the greed is going away from us, the more that we are getting the freedom. And also, we need to develop again under wisdom also loving kindness and compassion to overcome anger or the hatred. So, the more anger that you are having because you are not understanding the concept of loving kindness and compassion. So, entire Buddhist teaching totally founded by the Buddha under these two principles, the loving kindness and compassion. That is why the Buddha said at the beginning, preach this Dhamma. He realized and understood, and he is preaching it with compassion and loving kindness towards the world. So, under the miracle of instruction, now you are capable of performing a simple miracle, that is practicing loving kindness and compassion in your daily activities. The more that you are opening yourself for the loving kindness and compassion, the more you are virtuously developing. And with the meditation, progressing. And with the wisdom, more accepting the true reality of the world. So that is the teaching of the Buddha about the true miracle of the Buddha. Last but not least, I share this wonderful quote from Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh. He says, "The miracle is not to walk on water or in thin air, but to walk on earth. Walk in such a way that you become fully alive and joy and happiness are possible." That is the miracle that everyone can perform if you have mindfulness, concentration, and insight, which is wisdom. Then every step you make on this earth is performing a miracle. So interesting, right? So every step that we are motivated to practice loving kindness and compassion is a miracle. So now all of you are going to perform the miracle of loving kindness and compassion. So this teaching enables us not to enjoy and clap for the miracles, but to perform a wonderful miracle which is healthier for yourself, and it enables happy life in your family and good relationship with brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, sons and daughters, and beyond that, your closer circle of friends, your relatives, and your uh, neighborhood, and beyond that, until at large, entire world will be benefiting one kind word, one kind action, and one kind thought. So, please perform this wonderful miracle, not because the world deserves your compassion and love, but because you deserve your inner peace. Therefore, when you are motivated with loving kindness, not others are benefiting. You are the one who going to be benefit from this wonderful practice. So it is our personal practice of performing miracle. So it seems, yeah, I can read all of your faces now. Bhante, please stop. So I'm going to stop. So the floor is yours for the discussion and Q&A. Oh, it is said that after fourth jhana, they are capable of performing or gaining the insight and knowledge regarding these miraculous powers. Yeah, it is need to be practiced until fourth jhana level. Yeah. Uh, he- Actually, he had the psychic powers, but he was more like giving that because there are 80 great disciples of the Buddha, each one given different kind of a foremost position. So Venerable Arahant Moggallana was given the foremost in performing miracle. So most of the stories related to performing miracles are under Venerable Moggallana, whereas foremost in the Dhamma is Venerable Sariputta. So he represented that lineage. So that is how Buddhism was passed down, depending on each great venerables. They had their own closer circle of disciples, and each disciple had another closer circle. So that is how these teachings were passed down generation to generation. Yeah, even Venerable uh, Devadatta also had a group of followers, right? So every venerable monks are having group of followers depending on respective qualities. Yeah. Thank you for the question. Yeah. Yeah. If no question, I would like to share another story related to the psychic powers, right? So psychic powers are something in Buddhism considered as actually it is if you can perform a miracle, if you can develop into that kind of stage, it is very good. But don't forget, even though we are having such kind of psychic powers, our mental process is working in different ways. For example, Venerable Devadatta was capable of performing miracles. How he gained the support of the king Ajatasattu? By performing miracles, right? So it does not mean that performing miracle is a wrong thing, but you can perform miracle, but most of the time these miracles are being performed with the understanding of if he is not enlightened, with the understanding of making lots of gains. That is why Buddha is quite not happy with the practice of performing miracle. So I will share an interesting incident that had happened. Why Buddha asked venerable monks not to perform miracle? It is because in one occasion, uh, Venerable Moggallana and Venerable Pindola Bharadwaja was going on a tour, which means seeking the food in Rajagaha, one of the famous kingdom at that time. So while they were walking, they happened to come to the city center. In the city center, a famous or a very rich merchant uh, created a sandal arms bowl and put it on a 60 feet foot tall bamboo pole and asked anyone who can perform miracles, go and take. Who is taking that ball is belong to him. So, Venerable uh, what Venerable Pindola Bharadwaja decided to perform the miracle and take that ball. But he is an arhat, right? He took it and then he goes 3 times around in the sky with that sandal ball in Jetavana city. So then people were cheering and supporting. When he was coming with the Arahant Moggallana, so many followers were coming to the temple. And Buddha heard a very loud cheering and noises coming to the where Buddha was staying. And then later he asked what had happened. And they said there was this kind of incident. So I performed this miracle and I took this sandalwood bowl. And Buddha rebuked, not a just anyhow rebuke, it is a very strong rebuke, and said, from today onwards, monks should not perform miracle. It is because the cheering and loud noises and all coming from a followers for a cheap miracle that worth less than a very at the time it is a what you call kahapana, the gold coins, less than a gold coin that sandalwood bowl. Why you want to perform such kind of a profound, knowledgeable, and practice to gain this small sandalwood bowl? So that is why Buddha rebuked and promulgated as a form of Vinaya rule, monks should not perform miracles. This is the story that followed by onwards that uh, miracle performances were stopped. But Buddha, in some certain occasions, allow venerable monks, those who are arahants, those who are near in the passing away stage, and they were instructed to perform miracle. before they are passing away. Because the people, even though they are happy with the miracle, they are not having supporters, right? I mean, they can't support because of that, because he is already passing away. So with that intention, Buddha allow, okay, you can perform a miracle, and Buddha asked Venerable Sariputta before he passing away, and Venerable Mangala before he passing away, and uh, uh, the Yasodhara theory passing before passing away, and even Venerable Ananda also performed a miracle in the river of his relatives Sakyan and Kolian on the sky. So there are several instances, but only the moment that they are passing away. And on the top of that, in our monastic tradition, monks can reveal their personal meditational achievements only when the time that they are passing away. That is the time the monks can ask from other monks, have you gained any specific knowledge in Buddhism? That is the moment that they can reveal. If not, if a monk started performing a miracle in Singapore, if it is, we are lucky if it is in Mangala Vihara. If not, what will happen? All the other temples will not receive any alms because you are so excited to offer dana and support for the miracle powers, not for the teaching. Buddha was so intelligent, right? He does not want to create that segregation. This temple is good and they are performing miracle. Other temples are bad; they are not performing miracle. No, it is not. That the miracle of instruction that everybody can perform. Yeah. So I think we can conclude, right? There are no questions. Yeah. Practice more. So since actually this is a wonderful period, yeah, you all can practice loving kindness or compassion, or it doesn't mean that you are sitting down and practicing metta or loving kindness. You can actually practically, uh, verbally and physically, you can practice loving kindness, right? If your colleagues are wearing nice dress, give them a good compliment. That is being compassionate and that is being loving kind. Honestly, you say, oh, this is a nice dress and you are good looking, you are amazing. It does not take much, right? But it need to have a proper loving kindness inside your mind to utter such positive words. And if you see something negative in others, kindly ask them in a nice way, I see there are so many good things in you, but at the same time, you are having this kind of negative things. Don't you think that you need to change yourself to a better person? Give the comments and compliment in a nice ways, which other people can accept. So be a nice human being. Yeah, utter beautiful words, truthful words to others. That is also a practicing loving kindness and helping others, offering dana to temples and others also a different kind of a practice of loving kindness. So there are so many ways. It is not all about money, but there are so many other ways that you can practice loving kindness. Yeah. Hope it will benefit. Yeah. Thank you. Actually, there are some instances that that you there are some monks actually those who are capable of reading others' mind. It is not that reading others' mind mean looking at you that if you are so sad that are you in a sad mood, right? So it is not a miracle because your face says everything, right? So no, actually there are some practitioners, not only the Buddhist monks, but there are some lay people also, those who practice meditation deeply. They are capable of reading others' mind. Uh, but since this world is more scientific, that people tend not to believe those kind of abilities. So many monks, they, even though they can do it, they are uh, not actually doing those kind of things. And of course, it is in the Vinaya also it is wrongdoing. Therefore, you can't see. But when you closely associate some monks, yeah, actually, I have come across one or two Bhantes, those who were capable. And don't ask me where, okay? So there are some monks, yeah, they do. Because compassion has different level. So general compassion is also good as long as you are doing it with the good purpose. And the compassion, there are some certain criteria to be met. When you are developing with your wisdom, the compassion has different phase. That is what I think that you are referring to. So somehow, as a Buddhist or as a practitioner, you are being compassionate to others, motivated with positive thought. That compassion is totally okay. So be compassionate. And also, this compassion, according to Buddhism, compassion is defined as paradukke sati sadhunang hadya kampanang karotiti. So when you see something, a, a, a person who is suffering or that you are going through some difficult stages, then this kind of a positive thing as a compassion can come out. So that compassion, if you are leading it into, it is just like the counselors, right? Many people come to the counselors with different kind of questions, but he had to maintain listening ears, but not emotionally attached. That is a right kind of a compassion. So similarly in Buddhism, yeah, we are compassionate, but we have some certain boundaries also. It is totally fine to be compassionate and keeping your boundaries protected. So that is, it comes with the wisdom. Yeah. I took it as an example, and I am not educated in psychology. Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much for being here, and it is wonderful, and it is so great to seeing you all and paying a lot of attention, listening and digesting these Dhamma. That is what, as a practitioner, that we need to do. When we are listening to the Dhamma, and when we are digesting the Dhamma, and when we are reflecting on the Dhamma, that we are developing lots of amount of merit. So we are going to share these positive merit with the guardian and protective devas. May the good devas share these merit. Having shared these merit, may they extend protection to all of you, your family members, friends, and loved ones. And receiving these compassionate blessings, may you all be well, may you be all happy, and may the good devas also attain the bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And we are going to share these merit with departed family members, friends, and loved ones in this samsaric journey, wherever they are. They may able to share this merit. Having shared this merit, may they be well, may they be happy, may they receive comfortable birth in their samsaric life. Finally, may they also attain the bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And all of you who are here and your family members and friends, the more that you are sharing this Dhamma with them, that you are propagating the Dhamma. So perform the miracle of loving kindness and compassion. Perform a miracle of loving kindness and compassion for yourself and for the benefit of others. And may you all be happy here and now, and may you all be happy hereafter. May no danger come to you, may no harm come to you. May you all be blessed with good health, happiness, and good luck. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana Silis Nichang Buddha Pachayino Jattaro Dhamma Vadanti Ayuvanno Sukhan Balan Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Iminate Samijjatu. Thank you very much.